Welcome back to Day by Day with Evan. This one is going to be crazy. Before we start, like, subscribe, comment what you think of this video at the end, and let's just get right into it. I don't want to waste time on the intros. I just like to get right into it because I feel really strongly about this one. Maybe it's because I had a lot of trouble with it, but this one has to do with clarity. And how do you know that you are unclear? I went through a whole time in my life where I was unclear and I thought I was clear. Like when you're aware of the stove being hot and you put your hand on the stove anyways, that's your choice. That's you being like, I want to find out for myself. But then there's moments where you are so unclear because you're depressed, you're anxious, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed with all these emotions. And so you start to do things to yourself and you don't even notice. Fuck everybody else. Like, if you're hurting yourself, of course you're hurting other people. But you don't even know. If you don't even notice that you're hurting yourself, how are you going to notice that you're hurting other people? So that's kind of the concept. And what I want to dive into today is my experiences and how I found clarity. And it's not pretty. Me finding clarity was never a pretty sight. I went through addiction, almost being homeless, dropping out of college and going to a college that wasn't looked at as the right thing to do in my family. Like, I did so many things that from the outside in, it looked horrible. And from the inside, I didn't even know that it looked horrible because I was just so unclear. And I had one of my friends call me up one day and he was like, yeah, no, I'm moving to Montana and, my family and I, we're going to buy a house. My wife just had a kid and, the other one's on the way and he's my age. And he's like, what are you doing? And I sat there on my phone in my car. I was just getting off of work where I was working in Burbank. And I told him a lie. I told him, yeah, dude, I'm working at a studio and I'm working at a different job and I'm about to get a record deal. Like so many things that I didn't realize would hurt him in the long run. 3 years later, he's asking about that record deal. And of course, I was like, what do you mean? Because it was a lie and I was unclear at the time. And I didn't realize how much that hurt him because he knew. This is my best friend. He knew that what I was doing or what I was telling him is not what I was doing. And he never asked. And then 3 years later, he checked in on it. And of course, I was like, what do you mean? So you don't realize that you're hurting the people closest to you when you're unclear. And I think that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to be clear. I started doing that to everyone. I was doing that to my best friends, my mother and father figure in my life, my colleagues. I was doing it to everyone because I just wanted to be seen as okay. I didn't know that I wasn't okay. I was floating high on drugs and alcohol every day. So how did I become as clear as I am today? Well, taking some time away from what made me unclear. I noticed that I was addicted and doing things that broke me down as a person. And when I noticed those things, I started noticing like, oh wow, I'm really unhealthy physically. I am really mentally unstable. Um, I'm financially unstable. My social life is shit, and my environment is okay. Like I keep it clean, but it's definitely not great. So when you take a step back from those things that are making you unclear, and I'm not saying like go sober for the rest of your life, dude, everything in moderation. But maybe sometimes you need a bit of a break, like a month or two of just straight up nothing, nothing to torque your reality, your imagination, the things that make you healthy, so that you can see like, oh, okay, I'm whenever I'm left alone and I'm not taking a substance or distracting myself with whatever electronics or going somewhere where there's people that can distract me. When you sit by yourself, you think those thoughts that make you realize, oh, okay, well, maybe I'm not that great right now. And it's okay to not be great. No one's perfect. I'm not saying either to like get up and go get a therapist or get up and get a life coach or go to the gym 7 times a week. All I'm saying is to recognize what makes you hurt yourself. What makes you hurt yourself in the long run? Because, okay, take this for an example. I just bought a ticket to London the other day, and I'm a little in debt. But when you accept the things that you have acquired, the negative and the bad, the good things, then you're able to make choices that, okay, yeah, might add a little bit to the risk or to the pressure, but hey, I can take it because I recognize it, I see it, and I'm not going to just let it sit there. I'm going to do something about it. But I really want to go experience that, so I'm going to go do it. Whether you're 40, 50, 20, 15, if you recognize the risk and you recognize what your consequence might be, you're given the option to do something about it. But if you're unclear, that's the thing. There's the silver lining in it all. Like if you're unclear and you don't know how to recognize or point those things out, you'll miss them, or you'll see them and you don't know if it's good or bad for you, or you won't take the time to see what it'll do to you 2, 3, 5 years down the line. And you just do it anyways. And you let it sit there until 2 to 5 years down the line, it comes up again and it's like, hey, remember me? Yeah. Yeah. I've had a lot of those situations. And I talk like I'm so old. 28 is not old. But now that I'm 28, I look back and I'm like, wow, I wish somebody would have told me in those moments where I was like not paying attention to the things that were hurting me, would tell me right in the beginning as a big brother or a big sister, like, hey, I know it's fun and I know it's an experience, but to be conscious about your choices and your actions brings you closer to yourself, which then brings you closer to other people. And those other people might bring you into rooms that you were never destined to be in. But because you did what you did for yourself, the the universe, God put those people in your path to bring you closer to something bigger than yourself. And that's all that I strive for myself. And that's why I'm making these videos. It's truly just like a playlist, a vlog list of thoughts and philosophies and perspectives that I've gained along the on the road, that I'm going to be able to look back at and be like, wow, I don't know where this road is taking me, but I know that this is how I think and this is how I feel, and I want to put it out there for people that feel and think the same. so that we all can look back and be like, wow, that turned into this just because I took the second to recognize what kind of consequence it would be if I didn't. So, how I became clear was through recognizing the consequences. Excuse me. And I think the biggest step towards clarity for me was recently. Um, and this one goes into love, like your relationship with somebody. We often love people the way that we want to be loved. Like, and here's another concept. The bricks that your parents gave you from their home, we often get into a relationship and invite that person over to the home that you built with those bricks. But it's important to know that you need to take the bricks out of that home, the best ones, and build a new home with that person. Oftentimes, I look back at the bricks that my parents gave me, and there was a lot missing. And when I get into any relationship, I always reach and scrape at the ceiling of where I could be loved. But it's always too far from me. Until recently, I felt for the first time what it felt to be loved the way that I needed to be loved. There was little things that didn't, you know, that's why we're not together anymore, but there was little things that went like right up against the finish line. And when I look back, those are the things that are the core things that I need to be loved. In the way that I need to be loved, those were the things. And so it makes you kind of it makes you understand a little deeper your heart and what you missed as a kid, what that inner child is screaming out for. And then it also shows you how you operate with somebody that doesn't know those parts of you, but we act as if they do. We act as if that inner child is right on our chest, but it's not. When we're deep in a relationship and we're loving them the way that we want to be loved, it doesn't come across as, oh, this is my inner child, like this is all I need, like no, we often put on a face, a front, to say like why don't you already love me like that? Like you and I, like, we're so deep into this. And I'm talking about like, a relationship that's over a year, that you guys are clicking and things make sense. You kind of expect them to be like, okay, well, where's that love? Like, I thought I had my inner child on my chest, tattooed, waiting for you to look at every time that you were questioning how to love me. But that's not it. You're putting on a front. That tattoo of your inner child has a mask on. It looks like somebody that's already loved and doesn't need that from you. And you love yourself the way that that inner child needs to be loved already. Or maybe that's just how I felt, but some people might not feel that way, but I felt like, when I looked back, I felt like that inner child that I thought was on my sleeve had a mask on and was looking at my partner like, no, I'm good. I already give myself that love. You don't need to give it to me. You're good. I'll do everything for you. Don't worry about me. So that clarity of realizing how I operated, how I loved that person, made me realize that I need to be brutally honest about how I need to be loved. Yes, I love myself, and I found clarity in how I love myself by getting sober and being transparent with myself. But when I'm in a relationship or with somebody, or starting a friendship or a business partnership, I need to be brutally honest, because that type of communication isn't often found right off the ground. It's found 50 feet deep after digging through all of the emotions and things we feel as like starting relationship, friends, intimate partners, business partners, whatever. But it takes time. And so it's important to, when you're finding that clarity of, when you've found that clarity of like how you want to be loved and how you want to live your life and what you want to do in life and who you want to be, when you've found it, it's important, with everything after you've found that clarity, you take your time. You choose wisely. You look at things far ahead in the process of things. So like if you're looking at a trip like this London trip, I didn't just think like, oh, sick, I'm going to go and it's going to be fun, 2 weeks, great, done. I thought of, okay, well, what's that going to do to my living situation? What's that going to do to my finances a year from now? What is that going to do to my job? What is that going to do? Like, I thought of everything, and as long as everything's in line, you should be good to go, and you just watch it kind of unfold. And if anything screams out to you that you need to do better or you need to change, then do something about it. That's my aunt's favorite line. Do something. And now I live by it. Every time that there's something to do, or there's a million things to do and you don't know what to do, just do something. Figure it out. I hope that one day you guys can meet her. She is a gem. So yeah, that's kind of all that I wanted to say about this topic. When you're unclear or when you need clarity, take a step back. Let your life kind of show you where you've been unclear, and try to figure out how to be more transparent and honest in those sectors, and drop the wall. There's no need for barriers when you're hurting. Let people in. Let people help you, or let things help you, like books, podcasts, therapists, life coaches. And like I said in the beginning, I'm not telling you to go find those things. I'm telling you to start in here. Start with yourself. And once you drop those walls, you won't need to go find them. They'll find you. Because the universe just works like that. And I won't say anything more. All I'll say is make sure to comment your thoughts on this video and what you've thought of the past videos, because there's a lot and there's going to be more. Like, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss another one. And yeah, just day by day, we're going 1% better every day. Bye, guys.